Guys, what? Tommy Fury has just beaten KSI. Tommy Fury is stopping every single bro. He is stopping every single YouTuber, and I laugh out of nervousness because this is a YouTube boxing event, so this is not supposed to happen. I mean, the organizers are supposed to be like, the ones who kind of come out on top, but this is reality. It's not a scripted event. So KSI has just lost to Tommy Fury. However, there is some controversy. It wasn't a clear, no doubt win for Tommy Fury, because KSI threw more punches, he landed more punches, and it looked like he did more damage. But at the end of the day, Tommy Fury won the fight. Even though he landed 7 punches, 8 punches, while KSI landed I don't know how many. Bro, I was taken by surprise. Honestly, I thought this would be a KSI win. But I called it. Like, what I thought KSI would do, he did. He was light on his feet. He used his agility to hit Tommy Fury, but it didn't look like his punches were strong enough to actually make Tommy Fury lose balance or anything like that. Jake Paul did knock him down with a punch, so I don't know if that means something. Kind of, maybe, I don't know, Jake Paul hits harder than KSI. I don't know. Maybe that's not the case, But the fact is that KSI did hit Tommy Fury a couple of times. It looked like he was dominant. But at the end of the day, I don't know, the judges decided to give this fight to Tommy Fury, which, I don't know, do you guys think it's fair? Let me know in the comments. I was taken by surprise because I thought it was a close match. However, Tommy Fury did lose a point for continuously hitting KSI at the back of the head. So I thought that would give KSI an advantage. But I also don't like the whole winning by deduction points kind of thing. I think, if somebody's going to win, it needs to be very clear cut, no doubts. But there were a few doubts. It felt like KSI was throwing more punches. He was more dominant. So I thought KSI should have won, but I don't know. Tommy Fury is the pro boxer. I guess he outboxed KSI. However, I did think that there were too many clinches. I mean, I wish Tommy Fury had used more of his boxing skills, and KSI is kind of an awkward fighter. I mean, he keeps like pouncing, which is good for a boxer, and it's good that he's light on his feet. And you got to give it to KSI because he has some crazy cardio. He has crazy stamina. But this is not the only thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the whole event, and let's start with the prelims. Chase versus Tempo Arts. Chase started strong. Tempo showed that he's not going to be bullied. He beat Chase back a few clean punches, and then it started being equal. Tempo started pushing, pressuring, and he ended up winning. Astrid Wet versus Alexia Grace. The thing about female boxing that I've been seeing is they don't defend. They just take punches and punch. It's a crazy, I don't know, it's like a cat fight. They just punch and get punched. SX versus DTG. I don't know. SX felt like he wasn't supposed to be there, or I don't know. Swarmz, bro. Oh, Swarmz. Oh my goodness. He is now the One Punch Man with a different connotation to it, a different meaning to his One Punch Man. He just got knocked out by one punch. And the guy he was fighting had taken the fight 2 days prior. So we don't even know if he was boxing. But then again, it was an advantage and a disadvantage for Swarmz, because by not preparing for the fighter, Swarmz was in a disadvantage. However, if the fighter, I don't know his name, that's why I'm calling him the fighter, but the boxer that fought Swarmz, he literally took that as an advantage and saying, okay, so let me just do whatever works. I'll advance. I'll catch him off guard. So you know, it is what it is. Swarmz wasn't ready, and he got knocked out. But I want to see more of him. What is his name again? I don't know. I want to see more of him. Is it something Matthews or something? I don't know. I want to see more of him. I want to see him fight in a higher class. Then we saw the tag team Wasabi Ilmao, which was Alex Wasabi and Nick Lamau, LMAO, I don't know how you want to say it, versus Los Pineda Coladas. So Pineda and B-Dave. You know, the thing about B-Dave is he is tough. It's hard to knock out B-Dave. The very first fight that I saw B-Dave, I thought, you know, B-Dave is like a really tough guy. He advances, he is aggressive, and he also takes a punch. So I really liked B-Dave's performance. Pineda, on the other hand, he got knocked down by Wasabi. Wasabi, you know, actually showed that he's been preparing, but I don't think he is I don't know. I don't think he would beat KSI. Because, you know, we wanted to see KSI versus Wasabi, but that never happened. But I don't think they're at the same level. You know, he suffered against Pineda. Sometimes he got hit in the face. Pineda wanted revenge for that knockdown. He managed to hit a few, you know, land a few punches on Wasabi. Nick Ilmau, I had very high hopes for him. His previous fights, he did show a lot of potential. In this one, he did he knock down B-Dave? I think it wasn't a knockdown, was it? I can't remember exactly the moment, but he did get an advantage over B-Dave. The thing is, this card was so crazy that I can only think about the last few fights. I gotta watch some highlights to refresh my memory. This is fresh out of the fight. I just watched it. I'm still in shock that KSI lost. And then let's talk about Whindersson Nunes and my mate Nate. Whindersson Nunes is from my country, Brazil, and I really wanted him to win, but the thing about Whindersson is he's all defensive. He's very good at defense, very good head movement. Really, his head game was, okay, that sounds wrong, but his head game was really good. That really sounds wrong. Pause. Anyways, he did have great head movement. He was really speed, you know, his speed was on point. But my mate Nate had probably Muay Thai experience, and you know, he got punched so much in the body, and it didn't faze him. There was some points that were, you know, it's gonna be bruised the next day, but they were red because of all the punches. So I thought my mate Nate was gonna, you know, fold, but he didn't. At the end of the day, he threw more punches, he was more active, and Whindersson Nunes, which was also a very promising boxer, disappointing. He lost to King Kenny, which I didn't mind too much because King Kenny was fantastic against Whindersson Nunes. But then again, you know, in this time around, King Kenny didn't show up, which is our next fight we're going to talk about. I'm rushing this a little bit because it's almost 1 a.m. and I just want to talk about this since it's fresh out of my mind. King Kenny versus Anthony Taylor. a few things that I noticed. Anthony Taylor, when he fought Salt Papi, he was inspired by Mike Tyson, so he was really low on the ground, you know, really doing some footwork, really dodging and keeping very low. I think at this point in this fight, he was already very low in comparison to King Kenny. He rushed in the very beginning. I really liked King Kenny's composure in the beginning of the fight when Anthony Taylor rushed to him and tried to do something. King Kenny just like clinched him and it was like, what are you doing? I'm not afraid of you. You know, that was very good composure. But throughout the whole fight, it was just a clinch marathon, a clinch competition. It was just Anthony Taylor. I think he did a little bit of dirty boxing there. He was just punching, clinching. And then King Kenny didn't know what to do. He was just, you know, defending, clinching. It was a mess. It was a big mess. I was disappointed that Anthony Taylor lost his Mike Tyson influence, his stance, you know. It was just a mess of a fight. I was upset that King Kenny also couldn't show his abilities because he couldn't fight. His arms were tied the whole fight. So it was disappointing because I wanted to see King Kenny perform, put on a show his abilities, but he couldn't do it. I think he did lack the experience to know that he should have taunted, waited for Anthony to attack him, took 2 steps back, 1 step left, punched, you know, try to do a combo. But what he did was he just jumped back and clinched it. So it was quite disappointing there. But then again, what are you going to do with a wild card like Anthony Taylor? Like the dude is crazy. He was just charging like a bull. And then the next one was the best fight of the night, I would say. Dean the Great versus Waleed Sharks. That was the best fight of the night. It started off with Dean the Great. You know, he knocked down Waleed Sharks twice. He, you know, put on a show. He was landing all of his punches until he wasn't. Waleed started punching back, started fighting back, and it was a crazy show of chin. It was a crazy demonstration of how the human chin can take damage. And at the end of the day, in the last round, Waleed started pounding, hitting Dean the Great, but it wasn't enough, and it was too little, too late. But Dean got a beating out of there. But the fact that their faces had no bruises, no blood, they were clean after that is crazy to me. Either they had pillow for gloves, or I don't know how they managed to, first of all, keep standing after being punched clean on the face, and 2, they didn't have any bruises, any cuts, anything. It was, if you look back, it was just clean, soft skin. Dean the Great won that fight, so congratulations to him. But I think if they had gone another round, maybe Waleed would have you know, turned the tables around. Let's go to the next fight of the night. Salt Papi versus Slim. Bro, this fight was amazing. I won't say that this was the fight of the night because I think they had their moments. I think the first 3 rounds, Salt Papi was dominant. I didn't see a lot from Slim, so I don't think that was the fight of the night because it was, each one had different moments. Dean the Great and Waleed Sharks, they both had their moments at the same time. We didn't know who was winning each round. It was like crazy. There was like a lot of action in both. But when we saw Salt Papi versus Slim, we didn't see the best of Slim in the first 3 rounds. Slim did manage to control Salt Papi, even though he was getting hit. But that last round, Slim was ruthless with Papi. Salt Papi got punched. He didn't take it seriously. He was, you know, smiling and saying, come on, you're not affecting me. But he was. So I think Salt Papi let his arrogance get to him which was the same problem of last time. But the thing about last time is that he didn't get knocked out. This time he did. It was a stoppage. He got knocked down. I've never seen Sal Papi be so brutally harmed. And Slim is the real deal. Slim is the real deal, honestly. But Sal Papi, I had really high hopes for him. I think his hype kind of fell after he lost the last fight, but then he regained the trust. He lost his weight. He showed up, like a better version 2.0. Then he got the hype back up when he, challenged Slim. So I think Sal Papi had the most hype of the night. He was my favorite. Now I think Sal Papi, he still is a very good fighter, but I think he needs to use his humble self, because Sal Papi is like, he has two personality. He is either too humble or too arrogant, and I think he was humble today, so I think he needs to learn from that, and next time he fights, he should try to and not underestimate the person he's fighting, because he got too confident and he got knocked out. Well, technically he got knocked down. Props to him, he did stand up, but then Slim annihilated him. So I think that Sal Papi and Slim, it was a great fight, but Sal Papi could have done something differently. He could have defended more. He could have been more alert. It felt like when he got punched, there was a time when he got punched that it kind of like sparked in his eyes. He's like, okay, I'm in danger. And he should have been more cautious before that, because he was winning the fight. But Slim, the sniper right hand, accurate punches, he did a combination of 4 punches, and it really knocked Papi's lights off. Anyways, let's go to the next fight. Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis. Honestly, I just wanted to see Logan Paul beat the living whatever out of Dylan Dennis, especially because of what he did yesterday. I mean, you don't hit somebody with a microphone. You got to be more careful, because you could have blinded a person. But anyways, I don't think he cares. So that was a crazy fight, because I thought Dylan Dennis was gonna rip Logan Paul's head off. I thought he was gonna advance. I thought he was gonna go for it, but he just defended. He just stayed back. It felt like he was afraid. It felt like he was too cautious. And then he started going crazy and thinking it was MMA, but not even that was efficient. And then he tried to, there's a point that he fell on his back and lifted his legs, an invitation for, I don't know, something else they were promoting on the night, which is a little bit strange also. But anyways, guys, it was a mess. It was a complete mess. Honestly, the whole thing with Dylan Dennis, the whole situation was a mess, I think. But then Dylan Dennis put on a show. He promoted the fight. But inside the ring, it was just annoying, I would say. I wanted Dylan Dennis to fight back. He didn't. He didn't throw punches. Logan Paul did a good job, but at the end of the day, Dylan Dennis actually won the fight, and he won the fight because he was disqualified. So all the merit that Logan Paul would have had by winning, by decision, because he couldn't knock Dylan Dennis out, it was actually a disqualification. So imagine that the first Logan Paul win was actually by disqualification. that is not a good look on your record. Even though he was winning in the last 20 seconds, he was about to win by decision. But then now he's going to have a disqualification on his record, I guess. And the last fight was KSI versus Tommy Fury. Also, wait, before we go there, the crazy fact that the security guards rushed in, everything, like, that's just very unprofessional, you know. But then again, there is something in the back of my mind that keeps telling me this could have been staged. I don't want to believe that, but it could have been. Think about it. Logan Paul had promised, if Dylan Dennis shows up, he didn't say about paying your purse or anything like that. He said, if you show up, I will fight you. I'll rematch you in MMA. Just by showing up. And he showed up. But by having Dylan Dennis do what he did, it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you kind of think like, okay, so I don't really want to see a rematch between them because I didn't like what Dylan Dennis did. It was very disrespectful to, you know, the sport itself, very unprofessional. So in the back of my mind, I don't want to believe this, but in the back of my mind, it feels like this was a stunt so that Logan Paul wouldn't fight him in MMA. In the back of my mind, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying at the back of my mind, this is maybe an intrusive thought that maybe this was a stunt so that Logan Paul wouldn't go through with his promise. But then again, I don't want to believe that because I want to think that this is a legit boxing event. Moving on to the last fight, I think I've talked enough about it. I thought KSI would win. KSI lost. And now it feels empty. It feels like Jake Paul lost. KSI lost. Every YouTuber lost. Which is basically, yeah, YouTubers are going to lose to professional boxers. So what's the point of having YouTube boxing? It's the same thing as, okay, I'm going to have a friendly match, you know, my friends from school, and we're going to play against, I don't know, Barcelona. And then Barcelona wins, and you're like, yeah, what did you expect? It kind of undermines the whole boxing scene, the whole YouTube boxing scene. Now everybody's going to see. Everybody's going to say, you see, it's all a sham. YouTubers don't know how to box. It kind of feels that way now, you know. It kind of feels like stay in your lane, don't mess with boxers. And I think that kind of loses the whole point and the whole hype. So I think the notion or the fantasy of thinking that, you know, a YouTuber could be better than a real boxer, that fantasy would like fuel and drive the whole event. And I felt the same way when Deji fought against Mayweather, because Deji was like, he gained respect. His, you know, his character arc was amazing, and then he won in very good style against Fuzi, which was, you know, ripped. And what happened was Deji went and fought against Mayweather, and Mayweather made a mockery out of him. It was a really easy fight. And it kind of undermined everything that Deji had done. We looked at that, or I looked at that, and I thought, man, Mayweather just spoiled, you know, the YouTube scene by proving that there is no match between YouTubers and boxers, which is not something I want, because I want the YouTube boxing scene to be something, you know, big and continue being something big. Now, how is this loss, KSI loss, going to affect the whole event? Maybe it's not going to. Maybe it will. Maybe it's not. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But the whole fact that it was proven that whenever a YouTuber goes up against a professional boxer, they lose, it kind of takes away from, you know, the whole thing. I'm not talking about MMA fighters. I'm talking about real boxers. And, you know, Tommy Fury, even though he is a real boxer, it's kind of a stretch to say that. But if KSI and, you know, Jake Paul are losing to Tommy Fury, what would it be if they were fighting legit champions? Which is not the point of YouTube boxing anyways. But then there is another narrative. There is another narrative that can be explored and will still keep the YouTube boxing scene alive, which is KSI lost to Tommy Fury, Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury. They both lost by decision. So now Jake Paul needs to fight KSI, and the winner of that should rematch Tommy Fury. So there is still a narrative, there is still a character arc that can be built around this. So let's look at the positive side. I hope this doesn't undermine, and I hope it doesn't affect the YouTube boxing scene, because I love watching it and I've been watching it since the beginning. So I hope it doesn't affect it negatively, and I hope KSI can still, you know, inspire YouTubers to be boxers. With that said, what did you think of the event? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with something I said? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. But it was a very entertaining event. A few things that I didn't like, which Swarmz, he didn't show up. King Kenny didn't show up, but that's because of Anthony Taylor. He was hugging his arms. Whindersson Nunes didn't show up. You know, I wanted to see more of him. I wanted to see him more aggressive. I think, you know, Slim winning is not a bad thing, but Salt Papi has 2 losses, consecutive losses. That's also something that I don't think is good for his image, because he is Salt Papi, you know. But then again, he lost twice. So yeah, I know he's gonna come back stronger, but a special mention, Jarvis. Jarvis wanted to, you know, take the spotlight, and Slim shut him down and said, "Get out of here, this is not your moment." And Jarvis was just like, another moment, key moment, a very special moment was the I thought it was Hasbullah, you know, the guy with the spotlight on his head. Hezbollah, that's his name, right? But it's not him. It's a competitor. I thought it was funny to see him very smartly and intelligently stand below the spotlight. Anyways, guys, I would have enjoyed seeing Whindersson Nunes win. I would have enjoyed seeing Swarmz fight a little longer. I would have enjoyed seeing Salt Papi fight a little bit longer, and Slim also fight a little bit longer, like be equal. But it was a great fight. It's just that, bro, Salt Papi didn't defend himself and he got hit badly. But it was a great fight. I don't have a lot to complain about that. King Kenny, I really wanted to see more of his technique. Tommy Fury, I wanted to see more of his technique. And I wish KSI would try to adapt to a more conventional boxing style. But I did really like seeing his cardio. And I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I've been speaking here for 30 minutes, and it's because it was a long event. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next video. Let me know what's next for KSI. I'm looking forward to his video and seeing his thoughts. He did think it was a robbery, and he is very frustrated. But I think he's gonna come back and Who do you think is number 2? Because number 1 is Tommy Fury, apparently. So who's number 2? Jake Paul or KSI? Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Now you can get full access to exclusive content, special reactions to shows, series, anime, full movies, and even request a video of your choice. Just become a YouTube member or join Buy Me a Coffee today. Find out more, the link is in the description.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right.